We're back again talking about the whole Ian Garry thing, folks. I've made a load of videos on this whole situation, but stuff keeps coming out and I can't ignore it. We've got two things to talk about today, essentially, guys. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for all the support, first of all, and second of all, if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2024, and I truly think we can do it. I'm really trying to grow the channel, grow the content. I'm doing vlogs out here in Thailand as well. The setup is horrible. My mic isn't here, my camera isn't here. I'm using my phone. So obviously the quality isn't as good. So I understand if you guys aren't subscribing, but I would really appreciate it regardless if you would. First thing we're talking about today is the fact Ian Garry released an Instagram video saying he's going to represent Brazil, hopefully, if he can get a Brazilian passport, etc. Second thing, he's essentially and allegedly not doing any media this week. Well, he will have to, you know. He's contemplating not turning up to the press conference because he doesn't feel safe. Imagine being a professional fighter and coming out and saying that. I understand it if it's, you know, you don't feel comfortable because of all the, but it kind of gets rid of the fear factor around Ian Garry, knowing he's afraid of being in a hotel with the rest of the people in case they talk shit, and also essentially him not being on any of the embeddeds, right? So he's not been on either of the UFC embeddeds yet. We've had everybody except him. So I'm sure he will make an appearance. I'd imagine he'd make an appearance in tomorrow's embedded, episode 3, but obviously we'll have to see, because obviously you can't really say don't put me on embedded, because embedded's filmed all during the week. There will be cameras with everybody unless he's specifically asked not to be. But I swear to God, if embedded comes out and Layla is talking in embedded, oh my God, the comments are gonna go off. So I definitely doubt that they're gonna have anyone other than Ian Garry and his coaches in embedded. I want to say this though, guys, the fact he's not doing media and stuff, Colby Covington came out and said it. The guy can give it, but he can't take it. He can sit and talk shit, but as soon as stuff hits the fan, and I've been saying this for weeks, if they had just ignored this whole situation, it would have been past 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It was a big thing for about a week, right? It got loads of traction for about a week. But the fact that made Ian Garry or Layla turn off Ian Garry's social media, made them both respond, made them say he's not doing media, made them come out and release this big Instagram video, made her compare herself to Caroline Flack, which was just attention seeking. Like, that changed the whole dynamic of the situation, blew it up to this massive extreme deal, and now Ian Garry is one of the most hated men in combat sports just because of, I kind of am agreeing. He seems like a bit soy, a bit just, I understand the situation must be tough for him, but I made the whole video on him turning off his social media. I thought that was a terrible mistake, especially in the build-up to a fight. And now there's like verified reports saying he's most likely not going to turn up to the press conferences, and he's not been in embedded yet. Do you know he's an up-and-coming star? Why has he not been in the first 2 episodes of embedded? We've had Leon, Colby, Paddy Pimblett, Pantoja. We've had Brandon Royval. You know, no one cares about him. And no Ian Garry, so it's very interesting. And I know Colby Covington's probably going to rip him to bits for being a cock, and Sean Strickland's going to be in the area. Apparently they see each other in the PI, but the fact you can sit back and be like, okay, the best thing for me is not to go to a press conference, really does show weakness. Imagine though, he does turn up to the press conference, everyone's slating him, and he fires back saying he doesn't give a fuck, he's going to run through everyone, he doesn't give a fuck what anybody says, he's going to run through the whole division and flatten everyone in his way until he becomes the greatest MMA fighter of all time and just slates everyone, says shut your mouth, I'm coming for you and all this, and that just like goes after them. That would be incredible. That would be a massive press conference. That would be insane. But I just don't think he's got the balls or the minerals to stand up in front of everybody and take the shit and be like, yeah, fucking hate me, I love the hate. Or it's like, I seen a quote the other day and it was like, become so famous it's cool to hate you. It's like the whole Jake Paul thing. Everyone fucking hates him, but we all watch him. I love Jake Paul. I think he's great for the sport of boxing, but people hate him and it's kind of cool to all hate Jake Paul, like fuck Jake Paul, like that whole thing. And also, let's talk about the whole, he wants to get a Brazilian passport and represent Brazil. Ireland, all the comments everywhere, we literally do not own this guy. Like we do not, we don't support him in Ireland, like, all this and that. Okay, interesting. Ireland doesn't support him. I'm half Irish, right? You can probably tell from my voice at some points when I talk. I live in Scotland. I like Ian Garry. I like watching Ian Garry's fights, but I've always kind of thought he's a bit of a weird guy, a weird individual. He also trains out of Florida, or he did. He moved away from Ireland. Layla moved out of Ireland. Also, by the way, Ian Garry was 22 and a half, or just about to turn 23 when Layla moved him away. That is fucking weird. Layla was like 36. That is fucked. That is so weird. So fucking weird. But there's nothing wrong with wearing yellow shorts. I mean, he just says he wants to wear the yellow shorts and represents Brazil and the brotherhood, and I get that completely, because I mean, having different color shorts is quite cool. Like Izzy wore the China shorts and stuff like this to make fun of the whole I am China situation, but fuck Israel Adesanya. You guys have seen all my videos on him. Holy fuck, I hate him. But what people are saying is that obviously Layla's half Brazilian, and now he's in Brazil training, and now Layla is his manager saying, oh, you know, you should wear the Brazil shorts to represent like the brotherhood and the bond, and these people support you, no one else in the world supports you. So people are essentially saying Layla's forcing Ian Garry to represent Brazil because she's half Brazilian. This guy does not, this is never going to stop. I just want to say this, folks, this is never going to stop. This is the most unbelievable situation in MMA at the moment, and it probably is the most unbelievable situation that's happened in the past year. It's so weird, and it keeps getting worse. Why the fuck are why are you interviewing yourself and releasing videos essentially like, oh, I'm going to represent Brazil, when all this is going on and your wife's half Brazilian? Yes, you're training in Brazil, but it just looks a bit weird. Represent where you're from. You're from one place, you can't change that. Wanting to get Brazilian passport, like, come on, man. I mean, I know Ireland don't care for you, and Ireland don't care if you're one of them or not, but I mean, you know what's weird? Yeah, he's never really seemed, in the eyes of the fans, and this is just me, he's never really seemed properly Irish. I think it's just because he trains in different places and he doesn't really speak about Ireland that much at all. Like, he doesn't ever mention it or say he's doing it for Ireland. Like, he doesn't ever go on the mic and say, Ireland, stand up. He never says anything like that. You know, so it doesn't really feel like he represents them anyway, but I don't know, I don't care, whatever. I'm kind of over the whole situation. I'm gonna have to make a separate video on how Ian Garry was 23 years of age when Layla said, okay, I'll move to Florida with you and fund your life and fund your career. So, I mean, I remember thinking at the time when I commented that, essentially asking how did he afford it, and he said his wife supported him. I'm like, oh Christ, okay, your wife must be doing very well for like a lady your age. Then I realised she was 40 a few months later, and I was like, oh my god. That's how she could afford to essentially bankroll Ian Garry's career and move him to a different country. Sorry guys, I'm stretching, my legs are in agony, but I essentially just wanted to throw that out there. Video done essentially, guys. Thanks for watching. Crazy stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Mental. Don't forget to subscribe. I just rant and ramble about the situation. I just don't get it.